Konnichiwa. Welcome to AITA Pod. I'm Danny's son, and this is Shannon's son.
Konnichiwa. Classic.
Classic. God. Well, I'm so happy we're recording this because I'm just so excited to talk about my Japan trip. So thanks for indulging me, Shan.
Of course. I can't wait to hear all about it. He just got back yesterday, I think, right?
That's right. I'm so messed up. The jet lag is probably the only bad part, besides having to come back to an objectively worse country.
Yeah.
I'm just like, damn, dog, I kind of thought I won. You know what I mean? I kind of thought like, oh, I always thought like, oh, we're overstating it. Like the whole like America's number one.
Yes.
But after going to Tokyo, I'm like, no, it's definitely 2 at best. We're really not vying for that.
Really? It's that great over there?
Oh my God, it's amazing. I mean, it honestly makes New York City seem cute. It's just like ridiculous.
What, it's huge?
So many like walkable areas, like there's like, so I stayed in Shinjuku. So I was trying to pronounce it right. Shinjuku.
Okay.
I guess this Japanese friend I made, Kenta San, he was saying like white people hit the like Shibuya, Shinjuku. And he's like, it's just Shinjuku. You don't have to hit that like end part so hard.
Oh, the end part.
Yeah, we'd be like Shibuya, and he's
what
like,
does that mean?
Those are 2 neighborhoods basically.
Oh, neighborhoods, got it.
But okay, so I learned a lot though. I met up with a listener, Aya.
Yes, shout out to Aya. She sent us
cool.
some treats earlier this year.
Yes, and I got you Japanese treats. I got you your favorite ones. I got you matcha Kit Kats.
Yay! Thank you.
So yeah, basically I go and I didn't take a single cab the whole time. I took trains the whole time. Mm-hmm. But the thing that I noticed right away is like people are super polite, super, super polite. Mm-hmm. To the point like, okay, I'm checking into the hotel. It took a totally normal amount of time to check in. Twice during that interaction, she's like, thank you for waiting. Thank you for waiting.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. No, it's totally
You're
fine.
not used to that here.
No, and it seems like, and so I don't know how much of this is me being a foreigner, but from what I can understand, not that much, because it seems like it's just very like this politeness. And so everybody says arigato gozaimasu, which is roughly thank you, sir. But I started to notice like as the trip went on, I was like, not everybody's really working it. Like they're kind of being like, arigato gozaimasu.
Oh, okay.
Like half
just
saying
like
it.
obligatorily saying it.
Yeah, exactly. But I had so much fun. I basically just walked around and ate food. I did like not that many touristy things. I went to the fish market and ate fresh sushi, which was like so cheap and so good.
Oh wait, didn't you go like really early in the morning, or you went somewhere like really early? Was it there?
I was up at my normal time. So after I got over the jet lag, I was waking up at like 5 or 6 a.m.
I feel like you were eating something that wasn't a breakfast dish like really early in the morning one time, according to your stories.
Oh, yeah. So Japanese breakfast is a little bit different. They don't really love eggs the way we love eggs. Like there's kind of no omelets or nothing. I think a pretty standard breakfast from what I understand is basically like soba noodles. It's like a much lighter version of ramen. I had that for breakfast one morning, and that was, I think I know what you're talking about. You're talking about I got pork and ginger for breakfast, which is mildly insane.
I thought you like went somewhere where you like couldn't get into or something, and you were like, I'm going to try and go there at like 5 a.m.
Oh, yeah. So there was so I stayed in like the red light district basically, or like next to it. So that area like is dead. It's dead at 7 a.m. At 6 a.m., there's still people trying to get you. They're called touts. So we'll get into the touts. But the touts basically are like, massage, sex, bro, like anything you want. Let's go get drunk. And you're like, are you my friend? This feels weird. And they'll start walking by you. Okay. Like I actually understood a lot about how women get creeped out by men, because like it's really unnerving to have someone just start like walking next to you and you're like, when is this going to stop?
Yeah. Are they like pimps?
So basically I Googled it. So like, okay, so you guys got to understand. I got there, I slept 2 hours because the jet lag just fucked me up. So I like went to bed at like midnight and I woke up at like 3 a.m., 2 a.m. And so then I just started walking around because like things were popping off. Like seriously, it was like Times Square levels of like just people everywhere.
At 2 or 3 a.m.?
At 2 or 3 a.m. And this
so
does not stop.
Okay, so it's like all night.
All night. It goes. So anyway, these touts will come up to you. They'll just start walking next to you and they'll be like, massage, sex, whatever you want, bro. Let's go party. And so I Googled it and I guess their kind of game is they take a cut and they try to get you drunk so that, you know, obviously you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
And so they basically are driving business for like prostitution or for bars or for whatever it is. They're trying to exploit you basically.
Wow.
Obviously, just right away, it set off red flags. And I was like, no, thanks. That's weird. No, no, no. I must have said no to like 10 of these people. Then I went on a crazy run. I did a great little run running around Tokyo. And then I was like, you know, exhausted. I ran really far and I'd been walking all morning. And so then 2 at once, not guys, 2 girls came up to me and they both like put their arms around me. And they were like, massage. And I was like, actually, all right, fine. And they're like, oh, really? And then they like kind of grabbed me. And so I was like, fuck, I shouldn't do this. Like, I know this probably isn't going to go well, but like one of them was pretty cute. And I was like, all right, whatever. Like, how bad could it possibly be? Answer, borderline traumatizing.
Wait, what?
So I go up and then it's like super weird. Like it's not, I thought we would go to like a place where massages are done and it's not, it's like it's like, there's lots of hotels that you can just rent. They're like rooms that you rent for like an hour. Okay. And like, it's very clearly not for a massage because there's no, like, you know how massage tables have that hole where you put your head?
Yeah.
This did not have that.
Okay.
And
where was your head? Oh, you just turned it to the side?
Yeah, I just turned it to the side, which is like not comfortable. So anyway, so then as soon as we get up there, the cute one leaves and I'm left with like this, you know, probably like older woman. But I was like, whatever, like, I don't know what this is. It's mad shady, but like, I know how to coach. I've had bad masseuses before or whatever, massage therapists. I'll just coach her through it. It'll be okay. So I was like, all right, yeah, just my shoulders are really tight. Her style of massage, Shannon, shaking me like a baby you want dead. Just insane. So uncomfortable and non-therapeutic. I'm like, slow down. She doesn't understand slow down. She's just like violently shaking me.
Like no rubbing at all?
If she was rubbing, it was like way too fast. It didn't feel remotely therapeutic.
Or like relaxing in any way.
No, not relaxing. This
she
was
wasn't
like
trained. So she basically was just trying to get to the end where she then probably.
So then she's like, sex,
happy ending,
sex.
Right? Yeah.
Yep. Like 10, 15 minutes in, she's like, sex, blowjob. And I was like, no. She's like, come on. She's like touching me there. I'm like, no, really no. So
like
finally
naked.
I'm not naked. No, I kept my underwear on. So it was like, I got like basically like a 2 out of 10 massage. So then we finished.
She's like, the stupid American thinks I actually wanted to just give him a massage.
You know? So then I was like, okay, bye. And I ended it, by the way. It wasn't even a half hour, which is what we agreed to. I like was just like, okay, we're good. Like, you're not doing good at this. So whatever. Yeah. Then she's like, what about my friend? So then she brings her friend back and her friend was like, sex. And I was like, this is the least erotic thing that has ever, this is a trauma I will need to discuss to get over. Like, I do not want to have sex right now. Yeah, exactly. With poor Shannon. So what ended up happening was I actually like getting massages, especially when I was walking a lot. I literally walked 3 marathons in 5 days. So it was really kind of funny because after that experience, I was like, there's no way in hell I'm getting a massage from anyone offering them on the street. And so paradoxically, I'm surrounded by people offering massages and I can't actually get a massage.
A massage. Well, so wait, is the red light district in Japan the same as it is in Amsterdam? Like that's kind of like where the sex workers work?
Yeah, so it's a little bit more layered and like obviously I don't profess to be an expert here, but there's kind of different levels of it. So there's these things called girls bars and there's also guys bars. And the premise of those is that you're basically paying a girl or a guy to talk.
Oh, yeah, like To keep you company kind of thing?
To keep you company, basically. Like you go in and she's friendly with you. And so then I forget what the layer. So then there's like a layer above that, which is like a host club or whatever. And that's a little bit more like physical, but not necessarily sexual.
Escorting kind of thing.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, they're like kind of establishments, you know, and so I don't drink. And so at this point I was like completely turned off to this aspect of Japan. And so I didn't get into it. I was like, I'll save that for a different trip when I'm with like some people or something.
Yeah,
I don't want
your bachelor trip.
What's that? Yeah.
Your bachelor trip. He said that's where he wants to go. So
yeah, I want to have my
friends.
bachelor party in Japan.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, I asked Aya and I actually found a reputable massage place.
Oh, okay.
I finally go to this like real massage place and it's like this insane polar opposite, like going so far in the other direction.
Oh, is this where you're wearing the blue outfit?
Yes, there's no private rooms and they make you wear like this really humiliating, horrible blue outfit.
Yeah,
like,
you looked like you were in the Blue Man Group or something.
it's so goofy, super loose fitting clothes. And then there's no direct skin to skin contact. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Like that doesn't bother me. I'm just like, you guys are trying like really, like you're legit guys. I get it. Like you don't have to make me dress like a Smurf. But the most insane part, Shannon, not exaggerating, I spent 20 minutes doing an intake form.
Oh, wow.
Like, what's your name? What's your address? I'm like, I literally did less paperwork getting my appendix removed. Like, what is going on?
Yeah. Was the massage any good?
Oh, it was the best massage I've ever gotten.
Okay. At least it was worth it.
No, it was so worth it. But yeah, it's weird because like, and then, okay, there was even a part that freaks me out because you had to sign like this thing that was like, this is not authentic Japanese massage. And I was like, am I even getting, like, am I signing to get an organ removed right now?
Right. I'm not going to audit you guys.
It was so weird. And like, and then there's also a thing on the iPad where you would select which parts of your body you wanted massaged. And I was like, yeah, so there's that kind of a way of doing this already. It's known as pointing. I don't know if you've heard of pointing. Like, it was so bizarre.
Yeah.
But it worked out. So whatever. But yeah, that's my massage tales.
Massages are very different all over the world. I went to Thailand with my parents and my sister like 4 years ago. And for one of the weeks we were there, we learned Thai massage. And it's just so much different than here. Like you keep your clothes on. It's very much like pressure. Like you're putting your weight onto them, like with the palms of your hands. And so it's not like there's no oil involved. You're not naked. Like, and it's just so casual. Like there's so many massage parlors, but you sort of just like walk in. They're so cheap and you're just laying next to your friends, like basically touching them. It's very strange. Like there's many different types of massages out there. And I guess one where you have to wear a Smurf outfit.
You know? But yeah, I loved it. I thought it was so cool. Like it just felt like a technological super city. I gotta say, Shan, I know we've been big proponents of the city means New York, but I think Tokyo's the city. That's the city.
You heard it here first, folks. Wow, he's a changed man.
It's expensive to fly, but then once you're there, it can be pretty cheap.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
You gotta go.
I should do that with my sister because it's halfway through, which you
Oh my
saw
God.
her.
I know. I saw good old Chelsea. I flew in. So the way I was able to get a flight that wasn't insane with 2 days notice, flew into the Honolulu. And I was like, hey, I'm sorry. Because of course, what did Chelsea have to do? She couldn't meet up with me the night I arrived because she had Kung Fu, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Classic.
And I was like, well, this is insane, but my flight doesn't leave till 11. So I got to be at the airport by 9. She's like, oh yeah, I'll pick you up at 7. No problem. And I was like, I love the island.
Yeah. 7 a.m. folks. Yeah. She took you around, right? Like gave you a mini little tour.
She took me to the windy beach. I don't know if that's what it's called, but it was a windy beach, boy. And God, it was beautiful and like super quaint. I think she told me this was the like chill part of the island or whatever. She took me to like a town, like it was all small roads.
Yeah.
And then the highways were really slow. What's that?
I think she took you to the east side.
The east side. But yeah, that struck me too. The highways, it just felt like island life. I felt like we were going 45 on the highway. And she's like, yeah, it's the island.
It's island time, baby.
And then she took me to this like lookout thing where the winds were at literally going to blow me over.
Yeah, your
it was
hair,
so beautiful.
like when we are long-haired ladies, it will like stick straight up in the air sometimes.
It was such an amazing trip. And Shannon, I'm springing this on you, but Chelsea told me that you used to live on the Big Island.
Oh yeah, I mean just for like 5 months during the Pan-DD.
During the Pan-DD, and she
to
said,
do a Danny-ism.
She said that you had an issue on Maui. Oh boy.
Oh, I sure did. Yeah.
Oh boy.
My 2 best friends, parallel parking Maddie, and then my other acupuncture bestie, Caroline. We all were out there in high school when we were like 16, and we were drinking and smoking. And there was this one guy, and his name was Fiji. He was tiny, and he was like putting his hand up our skirts and down our pants and stuff.
Fiji.
Yeah. So one of the kids like called him like Freaky Fiji. And then his sister, who was like this like really muscular, was like, what the fuck did you just call my brother? And he was like, oh, I just was joking around like Freaky Fiji. And she was like, you better fucking apologize. And if any of you bitches got anything to say, speak now or forever hold your peace. And then Maddie like starts kind of like laughing. And I'm like, Maddie, shut the fuck up. Then this other dude that was in the group comes running and punches the shit out of the kid. And so we start running away. Like we like turn around and we're like, okay, we're out of here. And all of a sudden I just hear footsteps coming up behind me. And I just remember seeing my shadow on the ground. And then the girl punched the back of my head.
Oh my God.
And I spun around and I was like, I'm a girl. Because I thought it was a guy. And then she whammed me right in my face. And then,
oh my God.
And then we all start, oh no. And then one of the other guys who was bragging about his new shirt, he like got this new souvenir shirt. We look over at him and I swear to God, it was like a cartoon. One of the other guys grabbed his shirt and he spiraled, and the shirt like spiraled like a cartoon character. Like he grabbed part of it and it like spun. So we start running away. Maddie goes in a different direction. Caroline and I are going up this hill. The girl gets Caroline, and then this other like even bigger girl is chasing after Maddie. And Maddie's like, she's got her. She's like running. She gets her in a chokehold, punches her in the face, then gets her in a chokehold again, punches her, grabs her hair, and she's wearing my headband. And she grabs her hair and she's pulling it, and then she gets out, but the girl has my headband, but she like turns around and makes sure to like grab my headband back and all the commotion. And then we run and we hide in the bushes at the Four Seasons. And I think Caroline like Peter Pants. We finally like we're there for like 20 minutes because we're scared shitless that they're still after us. And then finally we realize the coast is clear, and then we go to the bathroom and we are bloody. We have bruising, and then we didn't sleep the whole night. And then the next morning I had a fat lip and I had to lie to my parents that the door swung open and hit me at Cheeseburger in Paradise. It's this restaurant there. This was in Lahaina, and they went to Cheeseburger in Paradise for breakfast, and then they come home and they were like, funny, because it was a sliding door at Cheeseburger in Paradise. And I was like, oh, it was the bathroom. Pretty smart thinking, huh? Pretty quick with it.
And I just can't. Cheeseburger in Paradise.
And then Maddie had a big bruise on her cheek, and my mom kept pressing it and was like, this really doesn't hurt? Like, what is this from? And Maddie's like, nope, that doesn't hurt at all. And it was like so painful that she was pressing on it. So we didn't tell them the truth until like a year later, but it was pretty wild. And the weirdest part about it was that night at dinner, Caroline's mom was telling a story about how she got beat up before. And then my mom like told a story, and we were kind of going around the tables, and the three of us were like, we've never gotten beat up or gotten into a fight before. And that night, isn't that wild?
Wow. I hate that your story just overshadowed everything. That was a way better story than my Japan trip.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought Chelsea told you, or did she just tell you to ask?
She told me to ask you. But wait, okay, I like to go back to the most interesting character in the story, which for me was Freaky Fiji. So how tiny was this motherfucker?
He was small. I could find some photos, and he
You have
was
pictures
he was
of him?
short. Yeah, like on Facebook, I have like a whole album of that night and stuff. On back in the day when you used to just post everything.
And so he was sticking his hand. He was like touching your ass
Yeah, like going down my shorts and then like up my friend's skirts.
and
Not
grabbing,
on our booty part.
like feeling
which-
your booties.
Yeah, which Maddie and Caroline like totally forgot about that detail of it. And like just a few years ago, it's like, yeah, remember that's where it all started. And they were like, oh shit. Yeah, that was fucked up.
It's just wild to me because he really got like, I feel like Freaky Fiji sounds like a guy who like, you know, he likes when a girl farts on him or something. He got a great name for what he was doing.
Yeah, truly. I know. It wasn't even the worst that he could have been called.
Felon.
The sister was
Felon
that upset.
Fiji.
Felon Fiji.
Felon Fiji would have fit the bill here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the sister like didn't know he was doing that. Like he was being sly about it. So I don't think that anyone besides like I think maybe we were probably saying something to the other kid, being like, yeah, he's like because I would like swat him away.
But this is, despite all the content, a Christmas episode.
Yes.
Aloha.
Who would have thought?
We went from Konnichiwa to Aloha to Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. This should be coming out on Christmas Day. I don't know if you guys are going to be listening. You're probably going to be with your parents.
Christmas traditions.
Well, one tradition that we always have is that I always get coal in some form in my stocking because I'm a little naughty.
That's good. That's cute.
It started when I was a little girl, and my mom would she has like actual like plastic coal that she just always puts in there. But like growing up, it was always like she'd find like gum coal or like candy coal or like things, soap coal,
That's
like anything. Like I
good.
would always get a little bit of coal in my stocking because I was always like the bad one.
That's cute.
All right, let's get into these situations, folks.
Our second story of the day. Would I be the asshole if I asked my fiance to return the gift he got for me? But first, AITA for uninviting my oldest daughter to Christmas over Santa. I, 43F, have children with very large age gaps. My oldest is 25 that I had with a high school ex. Then we separated and I married my husband much later. My younger two are 9 and 7. My younger children believe in Santa, while my 25-year-old daughter's son, 5M, does not. She raised him without the Santa magic, which is perfectly okay. I would just rather not have it ruined for my children who do believe in Santa. I was having Christmas at my house and I asked my daughter if she'd please talk to her son because I wouldn't like the magic ruined. I still put packages under the tree with, quote, from Santa on them and leave out cookies and reindeer treats, bird seeds. My daughter... Okay. My daughter told us she wouldn't make her son lie, and my children are old enough to understand if her son decides to say something. I told her if she wouldn't talk to her son, they could spend Christmas at their apartment. My daughter didn't like that and said I was choosing my younger children's happiness over hers and that I was being unreasonable. My husband supports me but thinks I might be a little high-strung as our children are getting older. I just want to keep the Christmas magic alive. AITA.
Now, what are your thoughts on, like, do you think that Santa is lying to your children?
I think Santa's real, damn it.
Me too.
I think it's a fun thing. I don't know. I don't know if I fully am on board for it because I think part of it is like, you know, when I started to realize Santa wasn't real, that's when I started questioning religion as well. I think parents are kind of playing a dangerous game with that.
Oh.
Right?
I never thought of that.
It's a pretty obvious connection.
I guess, but I never really related them, actually.
No?
No.
I mean, look, I think the thing about it is, so her son is what?
5.
9 and 7.
Oh.
While my 25-year-old daughter's son is 5.
Yes.
I mean, I would just kind of be like, I don't like what she's doing. I think that's where I'm like, something seems wrong here. Like to be like, you need to talk to your son.
I don't think that there's anything wrong with saying like, hey, by the way, can you just like tell him not to tell my kids that Santa's not real? Like, do you ever remember that one kid in school that was like, I guess their parents just didn't partake. and they wanted to always ruin it. But like, I was so dead fast on that he was real that I was just like, there's nothing that's ever going to stop me from believing in my man. And
my man.
I feel like that's what, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with being like, hey, just because we don't celebrate this is what your, I guess, aunt and uncle do. And just play along. Or just don't say anything. Like, you don't have to straight up lie and be like, yeah, like he's real, he comes, blah, blah, blah. Like, you don't have to play into it, but you can just remain neutral about it.
I mean, I guess you're right. Is there anything wrong with asking her to do it? It does seem unrealistic.
I mean, I guess because he's 5 and
He's
a lot
5.
of times you tell kids to not say something and the first thing they do is run up and tell the person the thing that you told them not to say.
And like a 5-year-old, are they really going to win out over a 7 and a 9-year-old? I honestly do feel like her approach seems a little wrong here.
I don't really think her approach feels that wrong. She just literally was like, would it be okay that you talk to your son and that I don't want the magic ruined for my 2 kids who are still young? I think that the daughter is being unreasonable by being like, no, I'm not going to make him lie.
I think that's fair, though. She's right. She has a point. That's a principle. I don't think that's...
But it's
I
not
also don't,
lying.
It is lying.
Not
It's
really.
lying. It's lying.
He doesn't even have to... He's not straight up being like... He's just not telling the truth. There's a difference.
Here's the thing. Does a 5-year-old understand this nuance? That's more what I'm on about. Of course not. A 5-year-old is not going to be able to navigate the difference between lying and not telling the truth. Some adults can't handle this. I'm just kind of like, you're asking a 5-year-old to play into your thing. I just think there's comments here that bring this up. Could you explain to your children that not everyone believes in Santa and that's okay? What happens if your kids have friends that are Jewish or Buddhist or parents that aren't able to provide the Santa experience?
That's true.
Chupnana, I thought that was a great comment. Like,
yeah.
Trying to control others to get them to support your narrative, I just feel like it's generally ill-advised.
Yeah, I definitely... Yeah, that comment really makes a lot of sense. Like, I do think that because I do remember now that I'm thinking about it, whenever I did meet those kids that would say that stuff, like my parents oftentimes were like, no, well, they just don't believe. So then he doesn't come. And then I'd be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So I feel like she could, because they're only 9 and 7. They're not exactly, the most with it either. Like, you can kind of tell a little fabrication to them, like, oh yeah, they just don't, Santa doesn't visit their house because he doesn't believe or whatever. So I guess you could say something like that to try and, keep the magic alive. But I would be devastated if I want my kids to believe in Santa and have that magic. Because I remember when I found out, I definitely never looked at it like my parents were lying, or like I never felt betrayed or anything like that.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun coming of age moment. I cried when I found out, but I don't think it needed to be that serious. I mean, that's just how I took it.
I was definitely upset. Actually, here's the way I found out. So our next door neighbors who I've told you about that we were really close with, and we would eat all their food, live at their house. So I was over their house, and Petey is he's like 6 months younger than me. And then Dawn, her older sister's my sister's age, and Tara was the mom. And it was Easter. And we're like wrapping presents or, getting the eggs ready. Or I guess not getting the eggs ready because I still believed in Easter Bunny. But anyway, Petey like says something really excitable and then like runs up the stairs. And then Tara like turns to Dawn and I and goes, Petey still believes in the Easter Bunny. And I go, oh. And then she was like, oh, wait, do you still
No.
And because Dawn, the daughter, tries covering it up, being like, oh, no, he's real. He's definitely real. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I was questioning it, but I wasn't sure. Because I was always tall. People like oftentimes thought I was older than I was. Granted, I was 11. Like, it wasn't like, it was okay for me to find out at that point. But she like, I always rip on her about it whenever I see her. But so then I went over to my mom. She was driving me to Maddie's house. And I was like, Mom, is the Easter Bunny realized, wait, so that means Santa's not and Tooth Fairy. And like I found all at once. Yeah. And she said, my mom said she like cried on her way home. But I more kind of felt like older and mature when I like learned about it. So I wasn't like too bummed, but I was like, I'm like a cool adult now.
Well, yeah, I think it's a complicated thing. I guess I just feel like, look, I know this. She wanted to make it happen. Is her method going to really work? Probably not, in my view, even if the daughter had been like, no problem. But like to actually separate the family over this, I'm like, lady, fuck you.
Yeah, that's a little much.
That's awful.
Yeah, it is. But I just still don't understand why the daughter can't just be like, yeah, I guess the mom could come up with a better solution than to just be like, you can't come over.
That's terrible on Christmas. What are you doing? It's like you forgot the whole point of the thing. And like,
that's true.
Look, I think Santa magic, keep it going, but like, it's not that big of a deal. Like,
yeah, being with your family should be the number one priority. I do think that there just could have been some better solutions here than just being like straight up, you can't come. Then it's being
That's
controlling
insane.
too.
It's very controlling. AITA for uninviting my oldest daughter to Christmas over Santa. I'm ready to go hard YTA here. Not okay.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't like that the daughter's like not willing to play along in some kind of way. And because then she's potentially ruining like the 9 and the 7-year-olds.
But she wasn't. She wasn't. That's my issue too, Shan. It was potentially her fucking 5-year-old. And like a 5-year-old is an independent person. Like the mom was trying to make this go down the way she pictured it, and it was never going to go down. Even if she did that, I still don't think that would work.
Yeah. Yeah. Because then the kids could have, come up to her later and be like, Mom, Jesse says that Santa's not real. And like I was saying earlier, the mom could just be like, oh, this is why.
Jesse's 5.
Yeah.
Jesse's
don't know
not
what they're
ready
talking about. Yeah.
Jesse's not ready for the truth.
Yeah, you could say anything. I remember my parents, like, because we always had so many questions, because I mean, it's so unrealistic. And that movie Santa Claus, do you remember it? The Santa Claus?
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen it.
With Tim Allen. Oh my God, one of my favorites. But that was always really helpful because they always had like solutions of how he like got places so quickly and how it worked if they had like a radiator instead of a chimney. And so there was always like, I don't know, they helped my parents play it for as long as they did.
Yeah, you got to give the kid a good propaganda movie. I think we agree though, right? AITA for uninviting eldest daughter to Christmas over Santa.
Yeah, I could go YTA.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. Please rate, review, subscribe. Join us on Patreon. Over 180 bonus episodes. A lot of fun in there. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Shannon.
Would I be the asshole if I asked my fiance to return the gift he got for me? My fiance, 28M, and I, 28F, have been together for 6 years. A few days ago, we celebrated Christmas together before going home, and he gave me a $700 heart-shaped 1/10 carat diamond necklace. $700 is an incredibly generous gift, more than we typically spend on each other. I feel awful, but I just don't like it at all. He asked me a while ago what kind of jewelry I might like, and I said some gold hoop earrings, which I have on right now. I feel so ungrateful, but I am wondering if I would be the asshole if I asked that he return this and get me something I would love and wear all the time. For such an expensive gift, I would hate for it to just sit in my jewelry box collecting dust. He did not offer to return it if I didn't like it, but I looked up the company and it is eligible for a full refund. AITA?
I think this is an interesting one. It definitely pulls at my cheap heartstrings a little bit where I'm like, oh God, it's just like wasted money. She doesn't want to wear it. It sucks. It sucks. But I've been in this situation and I gotta say, being told your gift, like having your gift rejected, it's rough. It's rough.
Oh, really? What happened?
Feel good. I guess it just always made me feel like inadequate. It wasn't something that I wanted to do. The reason I gave the gift wasn't necessarily expecting her to wear it. That's the other, I think, problem with this.
What was it?
I don't think really any man who gives you a fucking like necklace or some shit, like he's not going to be clocking whether or not you're wearing that shit.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh,
No.
Okay.
I feel like that's getting a little self-centered. Like, I'm trying to think of an example. Let's say that like, yeah, I mean, I would think that's a ridiculous expectation. Like, let's say you get your boyfriend a video game and then you don't see him play it. Like, you're not going to be like, hey, what I want to get you that game for, I never see you playing it. Like, it'd be like, okay, well, that's like not fun at all. You know what I mean?
I would definitely clock that.
Oh, you would?
Yeah. But maybe women are different, but I would definitely notice. I've noticed when he doesn't like wear or use the things that I've given him. And I don't take too much offense to it though. I just understand. Like I got him this like back massager this one time and he just never really uses it. I'm like, okay, it just like wasn't for him. No biggie. It was the thought that counted. And I was like, you know, because he always has like stress in his shoulders and neck. Like it was a kind thing for me. And just
you got him a massage hook?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like here, and then it kind of.
Is it a one? Does it have a motor? Or is it like a giant plastic hook?
No, not that.
It has a motor?
Yeah.
Oh, it's one of those. Yeah, those are corny.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a shit gift.
Do you know what I'm talking about? The one that goes like this, and it's like a massager on your.
I know what you're talking about. It's like, yeah, those are crap. Those are crap.
Well,
that honestly,
I got you that for Christmas, so I guess I'll just take it back.
That's honestly worse than what happened to me in Shinjuku. That shit hurts.
I don't know if we're talking about the same thing because it's not that bad.
Yes, you're talking about the thing that like it's like a scarf almost that lays on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pure trash. It doesn't do anything for anyone.
Okay, so anyway, he doesn't use it clearly. But I do remember kind of being like, oh, he didn't like it. But it doesn't bother me like too much. But I don't see anything. Okay. And maybe this is wrong of me, but I am definitely like a returner of gifts. And I get something I like if I don't like it. And they give me a gift receipt.
I guess if it was played very surgically. So if she's like, hey, I feel so bad to even ask this. I love what you gave me. I just feel it doesn't match a lot of what I wear. And I was just wondering how you would feel if I returned it and got something that matched a little better.
I think that's completely reasonable.
I think it's reasonable, but I just wanted to read this comment because it did ring true with me. Okay. No librarian writes, my parents were in a similar situation and ended up returning the jewelry. My dad was hurt by it for decades.
Yeah.
It's just like, I guess on your side, I understand it. And I think like I'm like that, but like there's just something hurtful about it. Like I tried to get you something nice. You didn't like it. I don't think I would clock it so much if she never wore it. I'd be like, whatever. It's so nice she doesn't even wear it.
Yeah. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think if it was my partner, I think like especially jewelry, because like jewelry usually has a little bit more of like a sentimental meaning behind it. Like It's kind of a little more heartfelt than like, you know, if Max wanted to return the massager to get like a foot massager or something like that. Like it'd be like, okay, yeah, you want it for a different thing. But like jewelry specifically or something like kind of special and sentimental, and especially if it was my partner, I don't think I would return it.
I think it can depend, but just the fact that she is feeling timid about it, I kind of feel like the way to do this is for the next big ring that's coming, set him up for success. But I think asking for a return could potentially land really poorly. And like, he's honestly probably going to be just happier. Just like, don't rock the boat on this. And I think you nailed it. Yeah. It's something sentimental. I don't know. It's sentimental.
Yeah, she did try and set him up for success, though. He asked her what kind of jewelry she wanted, and she said gold hoop earrings, and he just ignored it. So there is a part of me, too, that's kind of like,
I missed that part.
She did ask for something specific. It's kind of like, I think we talked about this before, but there was sort of a kind of trend going around the internet last year about women that were like their men were getting them silver jewelry or gold jewelry. But whatever it was like the one that they didn't wear. It's like they were getting them silver jewelry when you know I only wear gold. To women, I think a lot of times that comes off as you don't pay attention to me. And so doesn't necessarily seem like she's feeling this way because she doesn't mention that, which I'm kind of surprised. I would feel that way more so because I would be like, wow, I don't ever wear like diamond anything, like heart-shaped whatever. But at the same time, like I do really think that that's a nice gift and I think he was trying. And also style changes a lot. So you never know. Like I every year have like a different taste in, like my mom always taught me to always keep your jewelry because it's like small enough to like be able to move around with you to every apartment that you move to or house. But because it comes in and out of style, or like your taste changes, for example. So you never know. She might like them one day.
You never know. I think where I'm leaning here is, if this is the first jewelry botch, I think you let it fly. You try to set them up for success.
Yeah.
I think it can depend on the person, but I think if it's a strike one, don't call it out. Instead, try to create a situation for next time where he will get you the right thing. I think OP did some work in that regard, but maybe not. Like, maybe make it really easy. Be like, here's the link. I really like these. Hint, hint.
Yeah. We have a comment here that
Go for
I
it.
don't necessarily agree with. Astronomer Direct says, I've always been honest by saying, that was so thoughtful of you, but it's not my style. Let's return it. I don't usually ask for something in exchange. I thought that was kind of weird to just say, let's return it. I feel like that's the worst.
This person is like a 15-year-old male making up something. Like, no. You did not say that to your partner.
That's not
so
my
shitty.
style. Let's return it. And she thinks it seems better to say, I don't usually ask for something in exchange. Like,
shut
no.
the fuck up.
I agree that you need to be tactful about the way you go about asking him if you do. And I think that there is a way to go about it that wouldn't hurt his feelings. But I think in this case, just hold on to them. You might like them one day. I mean, diamond earrings, like they'll always be in style.
Would I be the asshole if I asked my fiance to return the gift he got for me? I think ultimately I'm saying, YTA, you would be the asshole.
I think so too. I usually am all for, like, if they give you a gift receipt, especially, like, go ahead and exchange it for something that works better for you, because we all know I don't like to waste. And I think it is better for stuff to just not sit in your closet and actually get some use out of it. However, I do think in this situation, yeah, I think just hold on to them. You might like them one day.
Guys, please rate, review, subscribe to us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. All right, folks, we're going to wrap this thing up. This sounds straight out of I Think You Should Leave. AITA for saying I won't come to Christmas at my in-laws if I can't wear a hat. I, 25F, got married in November. My mother-in-law doesn't really like me, even trying to steal the spotlight at my wedding, but is still overly traditional. At Thanksgiving, I was having a really bad hair day, so I wore a black leather cap, a dressier newsboy style one, which my husband said looked great on me. The holiday was hostile, even more so than prior gatherings I'd been to, and hubby said mother-in-law said it was because I wore a hat, but I know it was just an excuse.
What?
I told mother-in-law I wouldn't come to Christmas with them, then blocked her number and Facebook. My husband is trying to keep us both happy since he doesn't like conflict. He wants me to come to one more celebration to see if maybe people are getting used to me. He's told mother-in-law she needs to treat me as part of the family, that if I feel unwelcome at Christmas like I did at Thanksgiving, that we won't attend future events. And she won't see him much anymore. Well, marriage is about compromise, and I get that he doesn't want to cut her off since, it's his mother, but I just don't want to be involved with her unless I have to be. I wanted to see if mother-in-law was listening to him, so I asked my husband to request that I be allowed to wear the same hat to Christmas. Hubby said he thought I'd worn it since I had a bad hair day, but this time it's a statement that they shouldn't treat me as an outsider, either because I wear hats all the time. Right now, it's just a sports visor, which I'd never wear to a holiday, so it's not like I'm doing that, or they just don't like me. If they won't let me wear a hat, what else are they going to restrict about me? Let me be me or I won't come, period. My husband agreed and relayed this to mother-in-law, and she's been asking him why he married the devil. He's growing tense with me, and I told him he'll probably have to pick a side sooner or later, and that I never intended it that way. He spent last night at a friend's house because he needed to think. I told him to text me when he was ready to talk. He hasn't yet. My friend thinks that my hat request was unnecessary, and maybe I strained my relationship with my husband. I think he just needed space to think because conflict stresses him out. So I got to ask, AITA.
How unhinged is this?
What the fuck is this hat? How great is this hat?
It is a dressier newsboy style. And why did it cause such a hostile Thanksgiving?
Probably because it sounds like it looks goofy as fuck.
I think it maybe, I feel like it doesn't seem like it's goofy, like a new style hat. I can imagine. I think I have a hat like that.
Yeah.
And yeah. And I think it's just that, that whole you shouldn't wear a hat to dinner thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like when it's like a nicer hat, you can. Like, I wore the hat that I have to Thanksgiving this year that's like that, but it's like a fashionable one. Like, it's a nice high-end one. I didn't feel like doing my hair, but it looked cute.
I guess I just like, it sounds like, look, mother-in-law calling OP the devil is beyond unhinged.
Yes.
But I don't know the tone that she said it, but still, it shouldn't have been said. But I do have to say, like, if I'm going to someone's family thing, like, I'm not going to be busting out my fucking crazy, like, weird outfits. Like, I feel like it's just a little bit
It doesn't seem
obnoxious.
like it's that crazy of a hat, though.
Who wears a hat to dinner, though? It's weird.
I know, but I'm literally saying that's what I did to Max's families. Like, it was
yes,
a
but
nice,
you know them forever. Like,
it's true.
If it's
yeah, but
early,
they're married.
like,
they're married.
What's that?
They're married.
No, I know, but this feels like they're newly married, right?
I guess. I mean, maybe it was a quick
Yeah,
marriage.
she got married in November.
I know, but you would have assumed that they'd be together for a few years. But I guess it does seem like the whole relationship in general is new, though. You're right. And they're 25.
I just
and clearly they don't get along. So yeah, you kind of have to like stay in line, quote unquote, when you're not in a good place with these people.
Look, I think people have a right to be who they are, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But like, I do think like you got to know the part a little bit. Like, look, guys, I like to be offensive, or I like to binge eat and walk around Tokyo, or like, there's all these aspects to me of like, that they're who I am. I like to talk about apples and all these things. But if my girlfriend comes from a, fucking orange farming family, I ain't going to be trotting out the Honeycrisp agenda.
No, you can't bring pink ladies to that party.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. It's kind of a red flag, or at least a yellow flag for me when people are like, I can't be myself. Because to me, it feels more like what they're saying is, I can't do whatever I want to do. And it's like, well, welcome to reality, sweetheart. Sometimes you can't just do whatever you want to do. You got to kind of play the role that you were cast in. And sorry, but you're just like not the main character of this event.
I still just don't think that it should have caused this much uproar, though. Did you Google what newsboy style hats are? Like, that's literally the style of the hat that I wore to Thanksgiving. Yeah, like it's a normal looking hat.
I just feel like it's kind of goofy. I mean, I get it. I get it. I'm sure like you could pull it off or whatever, and like it looks fine, but it looks like you're wearing a fucking hat to dinner. Like, I'm trying to think of a male example. Like, it's just like kind of like showy clothing, it'd be like if I wore my Hokas to a fancy thing, I guess, or something like that, which I would totally do, but that's
I don't
pretty
know,
big
because
for
it's
comfort.
dressier, she's saying. I would understand if it was like a fitted cap or something like that. But I just feel like when you're wearing like a nicer hat, like, look, I have a Santa hat on and I'm amazing right now, right?
Well, yeah, but this is a podcast for like of comedians. I think you're good.
A
with
Christmas style hat, a Christmas episode at that.
What if you just wore that hat year long, though?
You know what? I'm going to now. I don't know. Well, first of all, the mother-in-law, regardless of this hat, the mother-in-law really seems a little bit like we're dealing with like, I don't know, narcissist or something like that. She seems a little over the top to me. Well, so does OP though.
Why? What did OP do that's over the top?
Well, the fact that OP like blocked the mother-in-law's number and Facebook, like, you don't want to try and have a good relationship with your husband's mom?
Yeah, this is not the whole story. Like I said, I mean, I think there's something like, look, if my kid was, I don't have a kid, but whatever. This is where my head's going. If my kid showed up with someone, I didn't like their hat or their shirt or something, I would be like, look, whatever. I'm not going to make a big stink out of it. It's not something I'm going to force them to do. Like, I do think I don't like that about mother-in-law. I don't like she called her the devil. That to me is a huge line cross.
Mm-hmm. Oh, of course. I just think in general, though, that they all are, like, the mother-in-law is not being welcoming of her at all. If we're playing it as it lays and she literally was just having a bad hair day and she wore a dressy newsboy style hat and it ruined the entire holiday and it made the mother-in-law be hostile towards her, that's unhinged.
I think so. I guess the questions I'm having about OP, like I'm just kind of getting a little bit of like, I want to be me. Let me be me. And I'm like, you're never like, not for the foreseeable future, going to like just get to do whatever you want with your in-laws. Like put it together a little bit.
Right. Well, especially the second time. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And like, especially the second time. Yes. Like you've got to like kind of like button it up a little bit and pretend that you're.
How ridiculous is it to be like, well, tell her that I'm going to wear my hat.
I feel like you're picking a fight too. And it's like,
oh, she totally is.
And like, look, honestly, this can break up a relationship. I mean, look, I was in a relationship like this where I was like, and my friend gave me this great piece of advice. He's like, dude, like you really can't get between the relationship someone has with their mother or father. And I was like, that's a great point. And so if you have an issue with your partner's mother or father, it's kind of like, it can be a deal breaker because it's like, look, I don't want that motherfucker around.
Yeah.
End of story.
Oh, yeah.
So this is serious business. And I think that's my issue with her, with OP, is that fine. Maybe she's being a crazy, if mother-in-law is being crazy and is like, she's calling her the devil about just a hat and that's all this is really about from her side. But I'm struggling to believe that. You're right. If she's a narcissist, maybe the hat interferes with her fucking crazy bullshit. But I'm just kind of getting this vibe from OP where it's like, I'm me and I'm going to show up and say what I want and do what I want. And it's like, you need to play a little bit. You got to play the part a little bit.
Yeah. And if you want your mother-in-law to like you catch more flies with honey than vinegar, babe.
I mean, when I had this issue, I hit the floor. I goddamn pretended to be so interested. Oh, that's so interesting. Thank you for telling me. Wow. Yeah, for fucking years. Years. And it was not reciprocated. No, and eventually it did break me down where I'm like, okay.
I mean, you can only do that for so long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And if it's not working, it's like, well, then fuck this. But like, I absolutely understand, like, you need to button it up. You need to put a smile on your face. Like you need to try and win this woman over for the sake of your husband. You're putting him in a very uncomfortable position and you're making him now do it. You're making him like, you know, be on your side. And oh, that was the other thing that bothered me was that like, I told him he'll probably have to pick a side sooner or later. And that was never what I intended. Come on. If you didn't intend that, you wouldn't have done this.
Yeah, and we talked a lot about this, that picking sides in a conflict is dangerous business because you don't want to pick sides. You don't want, that makes the war get more intense. You want to resolve the conflict. And I think that I just feel like OP is trying to make it worse. And she's playing with real fire here.
Oh, absolutely. It's ridiculous. I mean, truly just the fact that she blocked her mother-in-law's phone number and on Facebook, like just shows me how petty she is.
It's too much. And I feel like we've aligned here, and I know some of you Zoomers aren't going to like this, but like, look, I get it, guys. We all roast on boomers. We roast on Gen Xers. And I know some of you roast on us millennials, and we deserve it. But the thing is, older people do deserve a little bit of respect and deference because we have been around the sun a few more times.
I got drugged through the mud when I said that.
No, and I'm with you. I thought that I ended up siding with you a little bit because, and I'm not saying that progress isn't real and that we can't have progressivism and all these things and look at what our parents did and maybe be like, hey, maybe that wasn't okay or whatever. Yeah, I'm all with that. But I'm saying if you're going to engage with the mother or father to your spouse, you best not come at them with an energy that says that they're your equal. They're not.
Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, I would even go as far to say if this was his sister that you were having a problem with. Like it's somebody that your husband loves, who is like their ride or die with them for the rest of their lives, like is going to be someone that's always going to be there.
Absolutely.
So you need to make an effort, even if it was like
make
a
an
best
effort.
friend. Yeah.
That's exactly where I wanted us to go. This is about making an effort. If your spouse is important to you, then you best be making an effort, ergo trying to ingratiate yourself with the people that are part of his life. And you don't get to just...
And she thinks the way to see if they like her and they actually see her as family is actually doing the opposite. If you want to see if somebody loves you and treats you like family, you need to start loving them and treating them like family. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I think it was a good TED Talk.
Thank you.
I think beep blip blap bloop. I like that username. ESH, you took a situation that could have been a first step toward a less contentious relationship with your mother-in-law and made demands which intentionally antagonized her. Of course, you should be able to wear whatever you want and your mother-in-law is being insane, but do you want to be right or do you want peace? And again, I don't quite, I think the first hat incident was ambiguous, but like you don't really have a right to wear whatever you want in front of your in-laws. You really don't. Please try and show up a little bit and don't wear the fucking weird hat if you don't have to wear the weird hat.
Yeah, she definitely went overboard the second time. Like clearly, like I understand her being like, really? It was that big of a deal that I wore that hat? I was just having a bad hair day, like blah, blah, blah. But then to double down on it, it's like, okay, they clearly didn't like the hat, so I'm going to go in the opposite direction instead of running further into the fire.
We even got a YTA here. Usually right too. You're literally trying to bait her. It's like you want a reaction. It's considered rude to be wearing a hat indoors or while dining. And bad hair day, it's a family get together. Seems pretty immature to even be thinking about that. I'd expect it from a teenager, but maybe an adult. You're putting your husband in a shitty situation. I gotta say that's, I don't know, Shan. I know you have the hat, but it just does feel like baiting.
Oh, the second time is for sure.
Even the first time, I'm wondering, like, I kind of feel like she was obstinately insisting on wearing a hat at the dinner table. Overall
maybe
win.
She was being like obviously obtuse or something, but
yeah, that's fair. Overall win 71-19. It's not rude for anyone to wear exactly what they want to wear as long as their genitals aren't exposed. See, that's not true. That's not true.
Yeah.
You know, you can't wear a fucking wife beater to a family gathering. You can't wear your shirt that says, you know, fuck the police to a family gathering because it says fuck on it. You know, like, why? And even so, I would say, why are you bringing your politics or your why are you bringing your hot takes to this situation?
Yeah.
Please show up and make an effort. It doesn't have to. They don't have.
Can't wear whatever in front of your in-laws. Like, you got to be appropriate. Definitely, again, I don't think the hat is like completely out of line, but if they are a more like traditional family, I guess, like, yes, that is a rule that you are not supposed to wear a hat to dinner.
I'm a big hat guy. But you know, there's times when I love a hat. You got to do your hair sometimes. I think we're pretty lined up here. I know some of the Zoomers might be mad, but guys, I'm sorry. I honestly, look, the mother-in-law, she dropped the devil comment, but like, I don't know how she said it. I'm struggling. I'm struggling, Shan. AITA for saying I won't come to Christmas at my in-laws if I can't wear a hat. I just feel like OP she wants this to get ugly.
Yeah. In this particular situation, I mean, I do think that the mother-in-law in general is not very kind and welcoming. I know we're not hearing the whole side of the story, like every side of the story.
Yes.
But like for this situation in particular, like, yes, OP, you are being an asshole.
I think we agree YTA.
Yeah, I mean, the mother-in-law is too, but like for this situation, yeah, you're being a dick.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that is the app. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate.
Happy Holidays. We'll see you in the new year.
Much love, all y'all. Bye.
Bye.